What if right now you could step away from every noise, every distraction, every restless thought that pulls you in 100 directions and find a silence so profound it reveals who you truly are? Imagine standing on a peak where the air is thin and the world falls away beneath you, leaving nothing but stillness. In that silence, there is no one telling you who to be, no endless chatter filling your mind. It is a space untouched by fear, doubt, or the endless demands of life. This is not just quiet. This is a powerful moment of truth. It's here in the silence of the peaks that your soul whispers its deepest secrets. It's here that you can finally hear your own voice, clear, steady, and free. But why is silence so rare? Why do so many of us spend our lives in noise, searching for answers in screens, conversations, and constant movement, when the most important answers are waiting in stillness? The truth is, silence is uncomfortable because it forces us to face ourselves without distractions. It strips away the masks, the roles, the stories we tell to hide from pain or fear. It leaves us exposed, raw, and vulnerable. And that's terrifying. Yet, it is only in that terrifying quiet that real change begins. The silence acts like a mirror, reflecting your deepest fears and your greatest strengths back to you. It is a challenge and a gift. It demands courage, the courage to look inward without flinching. When you embrace that silence, you begin to dissolve the noise of the outside world and the chaos inside your mind. You start to see clearly who you are beneath the surface, your true desires, your hidden wounds, your boundless potential. This is not a distant dream. This clarity is available to you right now. If you stay with me through this journey, you will discover how the silence of the peaks is not just a place on a mountain, but a state of being. You will learn how to find that sacred stillness no matter where you are, in the chaos of your day, in the noise of your thoughts, in the confusion of your heart. And more importantly, you will understand how listening to that silence can ignite a transformation so deep it changes everything. You'll feel a strength rising within you that you may have forgotten was there, a courage that grows with every quiet moment you claim for yourself. This is a journey toward your authentic self, the part of you that has been waiting patiently beneath all the noise and distraction, the part that knows exactly who you are meant to be. So, if you are ready to stop running, stop hiding, and stop listening to the noise, then this is your invitation to step into the silence, to hear your own voice again, to discover the power you hold inside. The silence of the peaks is calling. And when you answer, you will never be the same. The world you live in is loud, not just with sounds, but with constant demands on your attention. Every moment is filled with notifications, voices, opinions, and expectations. This noise isn't just external, it lives inside you too. Racing thoughts, worries about the future, regrets from the past, and that persistent voice telling you you're not enough. It's exhausting, it steals your peace. It blurs your sense of self until you no longer recognize who you are beneath it all. This noise creates a veil that keeps you trapped in confusion and fear. You feel disconnected from your dreams, your purpose, even from your own heart. This is why silence matters so deeply. When everything around you and inside you clamors for attention, silence becomes a radical act. It is a space where clarity is born because the chaos fades away and you are left with nothing but yourself. It's terrifying to be alone with your thoughts because in the silence, you face the parts of you that have been ignored or pushed aside. But this confrontation is necessary. It is the only way to break free from the endless cycle of distraction and superficial living. The noise numbs you. It keeps you from feeling pain, but it also keeps you from feeling joy, passion, and the truth of who you really are. Imagine what would happen if you stopped running from silence and instead welcomed it. What if you allowed yourself to sit in the stillness long enough to hear what your heart has been trying to tell you all along? You would discover your fears, yes, but also your strength. You would find clarity in the confusion. You would awaken to your true desires, your authentic voice. That is the power of silence. It strips away the layers of distraction and doubt until only your essence remains. This essence is not defined by the noise of the world, but by something far deeper. Your core values, your passions, your unique gifts. When the noise stops, you stop running, you stop pretending, you stop hiding, you come home to yourself. Science shows that our brains are not designed for constant stimulation. The bombardment of noise creates stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. The mind needs quiet to reset, to heal, and to think clearly. Without silence, your creativity falters, your decisions become clouded, and your connection to yourself weakens. Choosing silence is choosing freedom from these chains. It's reclaiming your power. But silence, not passive. It is an active choice to face discomfort and grow stronger through it. In that space, you learn to listen, not just to the world, but to the subtle whispers of your soul. The more you practice this, the more your inner voice becomes a compass guiding you through life's storms. The peaks you face are not just physical challenges. They represent the moments when you must choose courage over fear, truth over illusion. Silence sharpens your senses and strengthens your resolve. It prepares you for the climb ahead, whatever that may be. So, despite the fear and resistance, despite the urge to fill every quiet moment with noise, choose silence. Lean into it. Let it wash over you like the clean mountain air. Because only when you quiet the noise can you truly hear who you are meant to be. And that is a revelation worth seeking. Choosing silence is not a passive retreat. It is an intentional step toward your own awakening. When you enter solitude willingly, you create a powerful environment where your mind can breathe and your heart can speak. Solitude is often mistaken for loneliness, but the two are vastly different. Loneliness isolates and diminishes, while solitude nurtures and strengthens. It gives you the rare chance to break free from the noise and connect with the most authentic parts of yourself. Science tells us that solitude enhances creativity, improves emotional regulation, and deepens self-awareness. It is a sacred space where your true thoughts and feelings emerge, no longer drowned by distractions or fear. In solitude, you begin to meet yourself without judgment. You see your struggles clearly, but also your resilience. You recognize the patterns that have kept you stuck and the desires that have fueled your dreams. This clarity is a gift, a powerful tool for transformation. You begin to understand that your worth is not defined by external validation or the chaos around you. It comes from within, from the quiet confidence that grows when you learn to be your own companion. This is the soil where courage takes root. True courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to stand firm despite it. Solitude gives you the space to face your fears head on, to witness them without allowing them to control you. When you are alone with your thoughts, you develop a relationship with your inner world that is honest and compassionate. This relationship becomes the foundation of strength you carry into every challenge. The silence teaches patience and presence. It trains you to listen deeply, not just to others, but to the whispers of your soul. You begin to notice the subtle shifts in your feelings and thoughts, gaining insight into what truly matters. This awareness transforms how you live each day. It moves you from reaction to intention, from confusion to clarity. Choosing solitude means reclaiming control over your mind and emotions. It means setting boundaries with the noise and demands of the world to protect your inner peace. This is not easy. The first steps into silence often bring discomfort. Old fears and insecurities rise up, begging for attention. But the discomfort is temporary. It is the necessary fire that forges a stronger, more authentic self. As you persist, the silence becomes a sanctuary, a place where your mind quiets, your heart opens, and your spirit soars. In this sanctuary, you discover your own voice, clear and unwavering. This voice speaks the truth of who you are beyond labels and roles. It carries your deepest values, your passions, and your vision for your life. Solitude is the doorway to this discovery. It is the practice that rewires your mind for resilience and your heart for bravery. When you embrace solitude, you learn to trust yourself more deeply. You realize that you do not need to seek approval or answers outside of yourself. Everything you need has been inside all along, waiting patiently for you to show up and listen. In this sacred silence, transformation becomes inevitable. You begin to live with more purpose, more courage, and more clarity. You become the person you were always meant to be. The journey into silence is not about escaping reality. It's about confronting it with a new clarity that only stillness can provide. When you allow yourself to enter silence fully, you begin to recognize the loudest voice you will ever hear is your own inner critic. This voice feeds on doubt, fear, and limitation. It tells you stories about your failures, your weaknesses, your unworthiness. It thrives in the shadows of distraction because silence exposes it, brings it to light, and strips away its power. Facing this inner critic is uncomfortable. It challenges you in ways no external enemy ever could. But here's the truth. It is only by meeting this voice face to face that you can begin to reclaim your freedom. The inner critic is not an enemy, but a part of you, a flawed protector shaped by past pain and fear. It has tried to keep you safe, but in doing so, it has kept you small. Silence gives you the space to observe this voice without judgment or fear. You start to see its patterns, its triggers, and the lies it tells. This awareness weakens its grip. It no longer controls your thoughts or actions. Instead, you learn to respond with compassion and strength. When you silence the noise outside, you discover how loud the voices inside have been all along. And this is where transformation begins. By naming the critic, you reduce its power. By understanding its fears, you find empathy for yourself. By choosing to listen differently, you open the door to a new narrative, one of possibility, courage, and growth. Silence rewires your mind. It allows you to step out of reactive thinking and into reflective awareness. This shift is essential for change. It creates a gap between stimulus and response where you gain control. You choose how to act rather than being driven by old fears or doubts. The inner critic's grip loosens because you are no longer afraid to sit with discomfort. You learn that pain, fear, and uncertainty are not signals to run, but invitations to grow. When the critic speaks, you acknowledge its presence but refuse to believe its harsh judgments. You replace its lies with truths rooted in your experience and worth. This process takes time and patience. It is not about silencing the critic completely, but about transforming your relationship with it. You become the observer and the healer of your inner world. The silence that once felt terrifying becomes a refuge, a place where you can listen deeply, reflect honestly, and heal fully. As this transformation unfolds, you gain clarity about who you truly are beneath the layers of fear and doubt. You begin to recognize your strengths, your values, and your unique voice. This voice is calm, steady, and unwavering. It carries the wisdom of your soul and the courage of your heart. When you listen to it regularly, you build resilience against life's storms. You find peace in uncertainty and power in vulnerability. The silence of the peaks is not a place to hide, but a space to awaken. It reveals your inner critic not to defeat you, but to free you. It challenges you to rewrite the stories you tell yourself and claim the life you were born to live. In this silence, you meet your true self, whole, courageous, and ready to rise. Beyond the confrontation with your inner critic lies a profound discovery, your hidden strengths, waiting patiently beneath layers of doubt and fear. When silence settles around you and the noise of judgment fades, you begin to notice these strengths more clearly. They are subtle at first, a steady breath in moments of chaos, a quiet resilience that refuses to give up, a spark of creativity flickering even in the darkest times. These are not grand, loud victories, but the steady heartbeat of your true power. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It lives in the small decisions to keep going, to forgive yourself, to face discomfort rather than run from it. These moments add up, building a foundation of courage and confidence that no external force can shake. Recognizing your strengths requires a shift in focus. The world often trains us to look only at what we lack, what we fail, or what we fear, but silence invites you to see differently. It asks you to look inward and find the qualities that have carried you through every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty. This is where true empowerment begins, when you stop defining yourself by your wounds and start embracing the ways you have survived and grown. Your resilience is a testament to your strength. The fact that you have faced hardships and are still here means something profound about who you are. Your creativity is a signal of your untapped potential. The ability to imagine, to solve, to dream, even when circumstances seem bleak, is a spark that can ignite transformation. These strengths exist beneath your fears and doubts because they are a part of you. Silence reveals them by removing distractions and allowing you to focus on what is real and essential. As you deepen this awareness, your relationship with yourself changes. You move from self-criticism to self-respect, from hesitation to action, from confusion to clarity. This shift is not sudden, it is gradual, built one quiet moment at a time, but its impact is undeniable. You become more grounded in who you are, more confident in your choices, more willing to take risks aligned with your true self. When you trust these inner strengths, fear loses its power to paralyze you. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities to grow rather than threats to your worth. Your courage expands because it is rooted in authenticity, not bravado. This is the courage that carries you up every mountain, through every storm, and toward every peak you long to reach. It is steady, enduring, and deeply personal. The silence of the peaks teaches you to find this courage within yourself. It shows you that the greatest power you can wield is the one that comes from knowing and honoring your true self. This knowledge does more than inspire. It transforms. It changes how you face challenges, how you treat yourself, and how you live your life. It opens the door to a new way of being, one where you are not defined by fear or noise, but by strength, clarity, and purpose. In the quiet, you find your foundation, and from that foundation you can rise stronger than ever before. True transformation begins when you understand that the silence you seek is not just an absence of sound, but the presence of your deepest truth. In the quiet, distractions fall away and you face the raw, unfiltered reality of your inner world. This moment is both terrifying and liberating because it reveals what has been hidden, not just your fears, but your potential, your values, and your purpose. The silence demands honesty. It asks you to stop pretending, to stop hiding behind excuses or distractions. This honesty is a doorway. Behind it lies the possibility of genuine change. Change that is not forced or fleeting, but rooted in self-awareness and acceptance. When you embrace this truth, you stop chasing external validation. You no longer measure your worth by what others think or by achievements that feel hollow. Instead, you ground yourself in the certainty of who you are beneath the surface noise. This clarity fuels action. It is the spark that lights your path forward. When your purpose is clear, fear loses its power to stop you. You move with intention, guided by values that resonate deeply within. This alignment between inner truth and outer action creates momentum that carries you through challenges and uncertainty. Your decisions become less about avoiding pain and more about pursuing growth. This shift is profound because it changes how you experience life itself. You become more present, more engaged, and more resilient. You stop reacting to every external stimulus and start responding with wisdom and courage. The silence that once felt uncomfortable transforms into a source of strength. You learn that stillness is not emptiness, but fullness, the fullness of presence, awareness, and connection to your true self. This connection is a powerful anchor in a chaotic world. It keeps you steady when storms arise, reminding you of your capacity to endure and thrive. This inner steadiness builds over time. It is not about achieving perfection, but about cultivating a reliable relationship with yourself. A relationship based on trust, compassion, and courage. When you cultivate this relationship, you naturally attract experiences and people that support your growth. Your life begins to reflect the authenticity you nurture within. The silence of the peaks teaches you this deeply. It shows you that the greatest strength comes not from external achievements, but from inner harmony. When you listen closely, your soul speaks a language of courage, purpose, and love. It calls you to rise above noise and distraction, to live boldly and authentically. This is the call to action you cannot ignore. The silence invites you to step fully into yourself, to claim your power, and to create a life that honors your deepest truth. This invitation is both a challenge and a promise that when you embrace silence, you embrace transformation. You become the architect of your destiny, guided by the voice that only stillness can reveal. The journey is not easy, but it is worth every step because in the silence of the peaks, you discover who you truly are and who you are meant to be. The silence you seek is a crucible, a place where the pressures of life melt away all that is false, leaving behind only what is real. In this crucible, your true self is forged, tempered by honesty and strengthened by courage. When you embrace this silence, you step into a sacred space where transformation is not just possible, but inevitable. This transformation requires surrender. Not surrender to weakness, but surrender to truth. It asks you to lay down the burdens of judgment, fear, and expectation that weigh you down. It challenges you to release the stories you have told yourself about who you are supposed to be, and instead embrace who you are becoming. In this space, you find freedom. Freedom from the need to perform, to prove, to conform. Freedom to be imperfect, vulnerable, and real. This freedom is the foundation of true power. Power that arises not from control over others or circumstances, but from mastery over yourself. It is the power to choose your response to any situation, to create your reality, and to shape your destiny. Silence sharpens this power because it silences the doubts and distractions that cloud your mind. It clears the fog of confusion and fear, revealing the path forward with remarkable clarity. When your mind is quiet, your intuition speaks louder. You begin to trust the subtle guidance of your heart and soul, the internal compass that has always known the way. This trust is revolutionary. It frees you from the paralysis of indecision and self-doubt. It propels you into action fueled by confidence and authenticity. This is the essence of transformation, not change imposed from the outside, but growth emerging from within. It is a process of becoming more deeply aligned with your true nature and purpose. This alignment creates a ripple effect. As you transform internally, your outer world begins to reflect this new reality. Relationships deepen, opportunities expand, and challenges become catalysts for growth rather than obstacles. The silence of the peaks offers more than clarity and power. It offers renewal. It is a chance to shed old layers, to heal wounds, and to cultivate resilience. In this stillness, you reconnect with your innate strength, the strength that has carried humanity through every trial and triumph. This strength is patient and persistent. It is not loud or aggressive, but steady and unwavering. It allows you to face uncertainty with grace and to embrace change as a necessary part of life's flow. The silence calls you to listen, not just with your ears, but with your entire being. It invites you to tune into the frequency of your soul, where purpose and passion reside. When you answer this call, you awaken a force within that cannot be ignored. This force moves you beyond fear and hesitation toward bold, intentional living. It transforms hesitation into action and dreams into reality. The silence of the peaks is not a destination, but a way of being, a state of presence and awareness that you can carry with you always. It is the source of your deepest courage, clarity, and power. When you cultivate this silence within, you become unstoppable. You become the author of your own life, writing each chapter with purpose and passion. This is the promise of silence, the promise of transformation that starts within and echoes outward, shaping every moment of your journey. True courage is born in the quiet moments when no one is watching, in the stillness where your soul confronts its deepest fears and doubts. It is easy to feel brave when surrounded by applause or in the light of day, but real courage takes root in the silence of the peaks, where you stand alone with yourself, stripped of all illusions. This courage is not loud or flashy. It is a quiet, steadfast force that refuses to back down, even when the path is uncertain or steep. It comes from an unshakable belief that who you are is enough, and that your dreams are worth fighting for. The silence teaches you that courage is a choice you make every day, not a trait you are born with. It is the decision to show up, to face discomfort, and to move forward despite fear. This daily act of bravery builds an inner reservoir of strength that sustains you through challenges that would otherwise overwhelm. When you cultivate this courage within, you begin to see obstacles not as barriers, but as invitations to grow. Fear loses its power to paralyze you because you recognize it as a natural part of the process, a signal that you are stretching beyond old limits. This understanding shifts your relationship with fear from one of avoidance to one of mastery. You no longer run from it, but lean into it, knowing that on the other side lies growth, freedom, and transformation. Silence is the training ground for this mastery. In the stillness, you practice being present with your fears, observing them without judgment or resistance. You learn to distinguish between realistic caution and the false alarms of your inner critic. This clarity gives you the confidence to act with wisdom and courage rather than reaction and hesitation. The courage born in silence is deeply authentic because it arises from knowing yourself fully, the light and the shadow, the strengths and the weaknesses. It is a courage grounded in self-acceptance, which makes it resilient to failure or rejection. When your courage comes from this place, it is unwavering and enduring. It empowers you to take bold steps toward your goals even when the outcome is uncertain. This courage fuels the transformation you seek because it moves you from dreaming to doing. It bridges the gap between who you are and who you want to become. Without courage, transformation stalls. With it, the impossible becomes possible. The silence of the peaks reminds you that courage is not about being fearless. It is about feeling the fear and choosing to act anyway. It calls you to rise above doubt and hesitation, to step into your power with clarity and conviction. This courage is contagious. As you embody it, you inspire yourself and others to believe in the strength within. It creates a ripple effect that changes the way you approach life, turning challenges into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. Embracing this courage changes everything. It shifts your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your destiny. In the quiet of the peaks, you discover the fearless heart that has been waiting to lead you all along. This heart is ready to guide you toward your highest potential, your deepest fulfillment, and your truest self. Growth is not a destination. It is a continuous journey that unfolds within the quiet spaces you create for yourself. When you embrace silence, you invite a deeper awareness of your thoughts, feelings, and patterns. This awareness is the foundation of growth because without it, change remains superficial and fleeting. True growth demands that you confront uncomfortable truths about yourself with honesty and compassion. It asks you to recognize where you have been stuck, where old fears or habits have limited your potential. This process is not easy. It requires courage to face parts of yourself you might have avoided or denied. Yet within this challenge lies the greatest reward, the opportunity to expand beyond your current limits and step into a fuller version of who you are meant to be. Silence is the catalyst that ignites this expansion. It removes distractions and external noise, allowing you to listen deeply to the subtle signals of your soul. These signals guide you toward alignment with your authentic desires and values. They help you discern what truly matters from what society, fear, or doubt have imposed upon you. When you listen in this way, you gain clarity about the direction your growth must take. This clarity creates powerful momentum. Instead of wandering aimlessly or being driven by external pressures, you move with intention and purpose. Every step forward becomes an act of self-respect and love. Growth also requires patience because transformation cannot be rushed. It unfolds in cycles, sometimes visible, other times silent and invisible to the outside world. In these quiet moments, the foundation for lasting change is laid. You build new neural pathways in your brain, rewrite limiting beliefs, and develop emotional resilience. This unseen work is vital. It strengthens you from the inside out, preparing you to face future challenges with greater wisdom and strength. The silence teaches you to honor this process, to trust that growth is happening even when you cannot see immediate results. This trust is essential because it keeps you moving forward when doubt tempts you to give up. It anchors you in hope and perseverance. Growth is also deeply personal. It cannot be compared or measured by others' standards. The silence reminds you that your journey is unique, shaped by your experiences, dreams, and values. It frees you from the trap of comparison and competition, allowing you to celebrate your progress no matter how small. When you embrace this personal growth, you become more compassionate toward yourself and others. You see challenges as opportunities for learning rather than failures. You approach life with curiosity instead of fear. This mindset shift transforms not only how you experience growth, but how you live each moment. Ultimately, growth through silence leads to transformation that is authentic and lasting. It connects you to your deepest self and aligns your actions with your highest purpose. This connection empowers you to live boldly, create meaning, and inspire others through your example. The silence of the peaks invites you to commit to this journey of growth. It calls you to lean into discomfort, trust the process, and embrace the unfolding of your true potential. When you answer this call, you become a force of change within yourself and in the world around you. Your inner world shapes your outer reality more than you realize. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, and every emotion you nurture quietly builds the life you live. When you embrace silence, you create space to observe this inner landscape without judgment or distraction. This clarity reveals how often your mind is cluttered with doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs that sabotage your potential. Recognizing this is the first step toward reclaiming your power. The silence invites you to become the conscious architect of your mind rather than its passive victim. You begin to choose thoughts that serve your growth and release those that keep you trapped in cycles of self-doubt and stagnation. This shift is transformative because your mindset becomes the fertile ground where resilience, confidence, and courage grow. When your mind is clear and focused, you are no longer tossed by every emotional wave or external setback. Instead, you stand grounded in your truth, able to navigate challenges with calm and clarity. This inner mastery is not about suppressing emotions, but understanding and harnessing them. Emotions are signals, not enemies. The silence teaches you to listen to these signals, to distinguish between those rooted in fear or past pain and those that guide you toward growth and fulfillment. As you cultivate this emotional intelligence, you gain greater control over your reactions and choices. This control fuels a powerful cycle of empowerment. With each mindful choice, your confidence deepens and your vision sharpens. You start to see obstacles as temporary and manageable, not permanent roadblocks. Your goals become clear, and your motivation intensifies because it is anchored in self-awareness rather than fleeting desires. The silence also exposes the stories you tell yourself, stories that define your identity and limit what you believe is possible. These narratives often come from old wounds, cultural conditioning, or fear of failure. Silence offers the opportunity to rewrite these stories. By observing them without attachment, you can challenge their validity and replace them with empowering truths. This rewriting is essential for lasting change because who you believe you are shapes everything you do. When you free yourself from limiting stories, you open space for a new identity, one that aligns with your highest aspirations and deepest values. This transformation of identity fuels motivation and courage because it comes from a place of authenticity. You begin to live in alignment with your true self rather than chasing approval or escaping pain. The silence nurtures this alignment by connecting you to your inner wisdom, the part of you that knows your purpose and path. Listening to this wisdom requires patience and trust, but it rewards you with clarity and peace. In this state, decisions become easier, and your energy is focused on what truly matters. You become unstoppable, not because obstacles vanish, but because your inner foundation is unshakable. The silence of the peaks shows you that your mind is the gateway to freedom or limitation. Mastering it is the greatest gift you can give yourself. It empowers you to rise above fear, doubt, and distraction and step fully into your potential. When you cultivate this inner clarity, you hold the key to transformation and success. Your actions are the visible echoes of your inner world. When your thoughts and beliefs align with your deepest values, your actions become purposeful and powerful. Silence is the space where this alignment is born, a sacred pause that allows you to reflect, recalibrate, and choose with intention. Without this space, actions often become automatic reactions driven by habit, fear, or external expectations. But when you cultivate silence within, every action you take carries weight and meaning. This presence transforms ordinary tasks into acts of creation and challenges into opportunities for growth. The power of aligned action lies in its consistency. Small, deliberate steps taken daily build momentum that compounds over time. This momentum is unstoppable because it springs from clarity and commitment rather than fleeting motivation. When your actions are grounded in your authentic self, you no longer waste energy on doubt or hesitation. You move forward with confidence, knowing that each effort contributes to a larger vision. Silence helps you recognize the difference between productive effort and busy work. It sharpens your focus, enabling you to prioritize what truly matters and eliminate distractions. This focus is a weapon against overwhelm, burnout, and procrastination. It empowers you to harness your energy wisely and sustain your drive over the long haul. Taking aligned action also requires courage because it often pushes you beyond comfort zones and into the unknown. The silence strengthens this courage by reminding you of your inner resilience and capacity to adapt. It calms the mind and steadies the heart, making risk and uncertainty less daunting. As you act with purpose and courage, you cultivate a deep sense of agency, the understanding that you are the author of your life. This agency is transformative. It shifts your mindset from victimhood to empowerment, from passivity to active creation. You begin to see that your destiny is not fixed, but shaped by your daily choices and commitments. This realization is liberating because it places your future firmly in your hands. The silence of the peaks invites you to step fully into this power. It calls you to release excuses, fears, and limiting beliefs that hold you back. It urges you to act decisively, fueled by the clarity and strength that only stillness can provide. When your inner world and outer actions harmonize, you become unstoppable. Obstacles become lessons, failures become feedback, and setbacks become fuel for growth. This harmony ignites a powerful cycle of transformation, one where every choice propels you closer to your highest potential. The silence teaches you that action without alignment is wasted energy, but alignment without action is a dream unfulfilled. Both are necessary, and both must be cultivated with intention and care. By embracing silence and its gifts, you awaken a force within that drives meaningful, lasting change. This force empowers you to move beyond fear and doubt into a life of purpose, passion, and impact. Your journey is not about perfection, but progress, about showing up every day with courage, clarity, and commitment. In this sacred space of silence and action, you discover the true power of who you are and what you are capable of creating. Every transformation demands surrender, not surrender as defeat, but surrender as acceptance. There is immense strength in letting go of the struggle against what is outside your control and turning inward to meet yourself fully. Silence is the doorway to this surrender. In the quiet, you confront resistance without judgment, allowing yourself to feel the weight of doubt, pain, and uncertainty. This acceptance dissolves the tension that holds you back. It clears the path for true change to emerge, rooted in reality rather than wishful thinking. Surrender is not about giving up on your dreams. It is about releasing attachment to specific outcomes and timelines. It is trusting the process even when the way forward is unclear. This trust is born from the deep connection silence fosters between you and your inner wisdom. When you surrender in this way, you stop fighting the current and begin to flow with it. This flow does not mean passivity. It means choosing where to direct your energy wisely instead of exhausting it on futile resistance. Surrender opens the door to resilience. It allows you to absorb setbacks without losing your center, to bend without breaking. The silence teaches that resilience is not stubborn endurance, but flexible strength, a dynamic response that adapts and grows through challenge. This resilience is a quiet power that sustains you over time, fueling persistence without burning out. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and failures into feedback. When you embrace surrender, you free yourself from the exhausting battle with fear and doubt. You create space for compassion toward yourself, recognizing that growth is messy and imperfect. This compassion nurtures healing, restoring your energy and renewing your commitment to transformation. The silence invites you to witness your journey with kindness rather than harsh judgment. It reminds you that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. In this acceptance, you reclaim your power, not by forcing change, but by aligning with the natural rhythm of growth. You learn to trust your intuition and timing, understanding that the most profound transformations often occur beneath the surface, invisible until fully formed. Surrender also cultivates humility, the recognition that you are part of something larger than yourself. This humility grounds you, keeping ego and impatience in check. It invites collaboration with life's flow, rather than resistance to it. From this grounded humility emerges clarity and peace, empowering you to move forward with calm confidence. Silence offers the space to practice this surrender daily. It challenges you to meet discomfort with openness and to release control without losing your direction. This practice strengthens your inner foundation, making you unshakable in the face of uncertainty. Through surrender, you transform struggle into strength, fear into faith, and resistance into acceptance. This transformation is the heart of lasting change. When you surrender in the silence of the peaks, you discover a profound freedom, the freedom to be yourself fully, to trust your path, and to embrace the unfolding of your true potential without fear. This freedom is your birthright, waiting to be claimed. Your connection to the world deepens when you embrace the silence within. In this stillness, you begin to sense the threads that link your inner life to everything around you, people, nature, moments, and the unseen currents that flow through existence. This awareness expands your perspective beyond the confines of your own struggles and dreams. It reveals the profound truth that you are part of a greater whole, connected by invisible bonds of energy and intention. This sense of belonging is not just comforting, it is empowering. It reminds you that your actions ripple outward, influencing more than you can see. The silence invites you to become conscious of these ripples and to choose how you engage with the world. This choice is an act of responsibility and courage, a recognition that your growth and transformation impact not only yourself, but also those around you. When you cultivate this awareness, your motivations shift from self-centered to soul-centered. Your purpose gains depth and meaning because it serves a greater good beyond personal gain. This shift fuels your resilience and commitment because you are no longer alone in your journey. You are supported by the interconnected web of life, drawing strength from its vastness. This connection also nurtures compassion, the ability to feel deeply for others' pain and triumphs without losing your center. Compassion is a powerful catalyst for transformation because it breaks down isolation and fear. It opens your heart and softens rigid patterns that limit growth. In silence, you learn to cultivate this compassion first toward yourself, healing inner wounds that block empathy and self-acceptance. As you nurture self-compassion, you naturally extend it outward, becoming a beacon of kindness and understanding in a world that often feels harsh and disconnected. The silence teaches that true strength includes vulnerability, the willingness to be open and authentic even when it feels risky. This vulnerability deepens your connections and enriches your relationships, creating spaces where growth and healing flourish. Your influence multiplies as you inspire others through your example of courage and openness. Connection also ignites creativity and innovation. When your mind is quiet and your heart open, ideas flow freely. You tap into a wellspring of inspiration that transcends ordinary thinking. This creative energy fuels solutions to challenges and opens doors to new possibilities. It empowers you to shape your life and environment in ways that align with your deepest values. Silence, therefore, is not emptiness, but a fertile ground for connection, compassion, and creation. It transforms isolation into unity, fear into love, and limitation into expansion. The more you lean into this silence, the more you realize that your true power lies in your ability to connect, within yourself and with the world around you. This power is a wellspring of transformation that propels you beyond obstacles and invites you to live fully and boldly. In this sacred space of connection, you discover your role in the larger story of life, a role that is vital, unique, and deeply meaningful. Embracing this connection is an invitation to rise into your fullest potential and to contribute your gifts to the world with courage and grace. The power of your mindset shapes every moment you live. It is the lens through which you interpret your experiences and the foundation upon which your actions rest. Silence reveals the true nature of your thoughts, their patterns, their power, and their limitations. When you cultivate awareness in this quiet space, you begin to notice how often your mind clings to fears, doubts, and stories that do not serve you. This recognition is crucial because these thoughts create invisible barriers that hold you back from becoming who you truly are. Yet, awareness alone is not enough. The silence challenges you to choose differently, to break free from these mental chains. It invites you to replace limiting beliefs with empowering truths that align with your highest potential. This transformation of the mind is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice. It requires patience and persistence because the brain is wired to default to old patterns. But every moment you choose clarity over confusion, courage over fear, and faith over doubt, you reshape your neural pathways and create new possibilities. This process is deeply liberating because it reconnects you with your inner power, the part of you that is resilient, creative, and wise. As your mindset shifts, so does your experience of reality. Challenges become opportunities to learn and grow rather than threats to avoid. Failure turns into feedback, a necessary step on the path to mastery. This perspective fuels motivation and keeps you moving forward even when the path is steep and uncertain. The silence teaches that the mind is not your enemy, but your tool, one that can be honed and directed toward your goals. Mastery of your mind brings freedom from the turmoil of negative self-talk and emotional reactivity. It allows you to respond to life with intention rather than reaction, with calm rather than chaos. This mastery deepens your emotional resilience, enabling you to face setbacks with grace and bounce back stronger. It also enhances your focus and clarity, allowing you to make decisions aligned with your true purpose. In this state, your energy is no longer scattered, but concentrated, fueling meaningful action and lasting change. The silence reveals that your thoughts are powerful, but you are more powerful than your thoughts. You are the observer who can choose which thoughts to nourish and which to release. This choice is the essence of freedom and transformation. By embracing this power, you step into your role as the creator of your life. You begin to shape your reality consciously, crafting a future that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. This shift ignites a profound sense of responsibility, not as a burden, but as an empowering call to live fully and authentically. The mind, once a source of struggle, becomes a source of strength and inspiration. In the stillness, you discover that the path to greatness begins with mastery over your own mind. This mastery unlocks doors to new levels of courage, creativity, and fulfillment. It is the foundation upon which all lasting transformation is built, and it is available to you right now in this moment of silence. Your emotions are the language of your inner world, constantly communicating what matters most to you. In silence, you become attuned to this language, recognizing feelings not as obstacles to overcome, but as signals guiding you toward truth. Fear, sadness, joy, and hope all carry vital information about your needs, desires, and boundaries. The silence invites you to listen deeply and without judgment, allowing emotions to flow rather than suppressing or denying them. This conscious awareness creates space for healing and transformation. When you resist or ignore emotions, they fester beneath the surface, draining your energy and clouding your clarity. But when you honor your feelings, you reclaim power over them. This power is not about control, but about acceptance and integration, knowing that your emotions are part of your whole self, not enemies to defeat. Embracing your emotions in this way builds emotional intelligence, a key factor in resilience and success. Emotional intelligence strengthens your ability to respond to challenges with calm and insight, rather than reacting impulsively or retreating in fear. It deepens your empathy for yourself and others, enriching your relationships and expanding your influence. The silence teaches that emotions are temporary currents, not permanent states. This understanding frees you from the tyranny of feeling trapped or defined by mood swings or past wounds. You learn to observe emotions with curiosity and compassion, allowing them to pass through without losing your center. This emotional fluidity fosters balance and stability, creating an inner environment where growth can flourish. In this space, you become more attuned to your intuition, the quiet, wise voice that often speaks through feeling rather than logic. Trusting this intuition strengthens your decision-making and aligns your actions with your authentic self. The silence also reveals the connection between your emotions and your physical body. Emotions manifest in tension, breath, and energy flow. By tuning into this somatic experience, you gain another layer of awareness and control, grounding your transformation in both mind and body. This holistic integration deepens your resilience and presence. The emotional mastery gained through silence empowers you to break free from reactive patterns that limit your potential. It cultivates courage to face discomfort and uncertainty with openness, transforming vulnerability into strength. This transformation reshapes your identity, from one shaped by fear and avoidance to one defined by authenticity, courage, and love. Your emotions become allies in your journey, guiding you toward choices that nurture your highest good. The silence offers a refuge where this emotional work can unfold safely and powerfully. It invites you to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with the truth of your feelings. This connection is a vital step toward inner freedom and fulfillment. By embracing your emotions with courage and compassion, you ignite a profound transformation that ripples through every aspect of your life. In this deep acceptance, you find the strength to move forward with grace, clarity, and unwavering commitment to becoming who you truly are. The way you speak to yourself shapes the landscape of your inner world. Words are more than sounds. They are the tools that build your identity, frame your reality, and fuel your emotions. In the silence, you uncover the true nature of your self-talk, the patterns that either lift you up or hold you down. Often this inner dialogue is harsh and unforgiving, born from old fears and doubts that no longer serve your growth. But silence reveals that you have the power to rewrite this story. You can choose words that inspire courage, compassion, and possibility. This choice is a radical act of self-love and rebellion against the voices that seek to limit you. When you speak to yourself with kindness, you create a foundation of trust and safety within. This foundation becomes a sanctuary where your potential can unfold without fear. The brain responds to this nurturing language by releasing chemicals that calm anxiety and boost motivation. This physiological shift supports resilience, helping you face challenges with steadiness rather than overwhelm. The silence also exposes how negative self-talk drains your energy and narrows your vision. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of hesitation and self-doubt, preventing you from taking the bold steps required for transformation. But every time you interrupt this cycle with affirming, truthful words, you expand your sense of possibility. You begin to see yourself as capable, deserving, and worthy of success and happiness. This shift in self-perception ignites action and propels you forward, even when the path is unclear. Your words become a compass, guiding you through uncertainty and fear. The silence reminds you that changing your inner dialogue is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing to focus on your strengths and potential rather than your limitations. This perspective fuels creativity and problem solving because it opens your mind to new options instead of fixating on obstacles. It allows you to embrace failure as a stepping stone rather than a verdict. As you cultivate this empowering self-talk, you also deepen your self-awareness and accountability. You recognize moments when your words slip into old patterns and gently redirect them toward growth. This ongoing practice strengthens your inner dialogue and gradually rewires your subconscious beliefs. The silence holds space for this work without judgment, encouraging patience and persistence. In this sacred quiet, you become the author of your inner narrative, crafting a story of resilience, courage, and transformation. This story shapes how you show up in the world, influences your relationships, and ultimately determines the life you create. By speaking to yourself with love and truth, you unlock a wellspring of strength that sustains you through challenges and amplifies your joy. Your words become seeds planted in fertile ground, growing into the life you envision. The silence teaches that mastery over your self-talk is mastery over your destiny. It is an invitation to reclaim your power, rewrite your story, and step boldly into the person you are meant to be. This transformation begins with a single choice: to speak to yourself as you would to your greatest ally, with kindness, courage, and unwavering belief.